Hello friend, I hope you are ready to put some letters together. Now this isn't a typical A, B, C, D worksheet, but I thought it would be fun because this is a sentence that has every letter in the English alphabet. That being said, I couldn't remember if it was like a lazy dog or the lazy dog or jumps or jumped. I suppose it would be jumps so that we could have the S in there. But anyway, if I have this sentence slightly wrong, I'm sorry, but it does have all of the letters in the English alphabet, at least from my checking. So I thought it would be fun to practice this with a couple of different pens. So I've got a few different ones here, and we're just gonna see how many we can get through. So the first one I have is this Stabilo .88. So this is the Stabilo fine liner, not the one that you might have seen me use a lot. This one is a felt tipped, and I really like that one as well. But I'm going to use this one to start with. And I thought this would be just a really fun way to practice each of these letters. And like I said, we're just going to get through as many as we can in 10 minutes. And that may not be very many because this is a long sentence, but that's okay. So if you have this page printed out, or if you are just doing this freehand, which is totally fine as well, this is one where you could use this worksheet or the same setup to test out different brush pens, or I'm sorry, different pens, to see which one you like the look of better. Because part of liking your pen is liking how it feels. In fact, that's a huge part for me. There are some pens where I just feel like every time I use them, my handwriting looks horrible, and I don't really know why. Maybe it's the body of the pen doesn't fit in my hand properly, or maybe it's, I don't know, it just doesn't feel comfortable. Maybe it doesn't glide across the specific type of paper that I'm using. Just because I don't like it though, doesn't mean that you won't. And so it's good to just practice them kind of where you can give a quick comparison and see which one you like the outcome of better as well. So that's what I thought we would do here today. And I may have to come back to this one in a future video because I'm certain I will not get done with this page in 10 minutes, but that's okay. Because of that though, I think it's probably a good idea to label. So I'm just gonna put right here which pen we are using for each of them. And if I haven't talked to you recently about dating your work, I would highly recommend, because I think it's really fun to go back and look and see how far you've come. So this is the Stabilo .88. Actually, I'm just going to put 0.4. Okay, so the next one we are going to use is one that you may have seen used for brush lettering. This is called the Monoline Plus pen. And this pen, if you push hard enough on it, you can kind of get like a thicker downstroke, kind of like a really teeny tiny brush pen. That being said, I have found that with a steady hand, this is a really nice monoline pen. So when I say monoline, I mean there's only one thickness. And I don't think it's hard to get this look. It's not like you have to have perfect pressure or anything like that. I actually think that when we use these as a brush pen, we are putting a ton of pressure. I shouldn't say a ton. We're putting a lot of pressure onto it. And so that's actually what requires more intention, is getting that thick and thin stroke. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me just show you quick. You can take this pen and push pretty hard, and you can get just ever so slightly a larger downstroke. So it's not huge or extreme by any means, and so I don't think it's hard to use this in this way as a monoline pen. In fact, I think it's probably meant to be used that way, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a fun brush pen pack. I will say, pen pack. I will say that I've had some leak on me, so keep that in mind. So these colors are not identical, but they are very similar. And then the next one I'm going to use is the Tombow Twin Tone. So if you guys have not used those, I will show you what they're like, but they are two-sided, so there's a felt tip on one end and then a really teeny tiny tip on the other side. So the next one is the Tombow Twin Tone. And like I said, it has two tips. So we have this side, which is the one I'm going to be using. It's so small. And then we have this side, which is a pretty large felt tip side. It's not, let me show you here. It's not super thin like some of the other felt tip pens. I'm thinking like the Papermate Flare is one. It's a thicker tip than that, if I'm not mistaken. But this side of it is really nice to use for handwriting. And the one fun thing about these is they have a ton of really fun colors. I've had these for a really long time and they have held up really well. I think there are a couple that don't write quite as nicely, but that's, I mean, pretty typical when you buy a big pack of pens. Even though I've had them for a long time, I do still like to use them. So one thing about practicing your everyday handwriting or this handwriting style is it's still a pretty upright style, and I'm still writing pretty slowly. I will say that over time, as I've practiced my handwriting, I do write more quickly than I used to. So if you're just very beginning, very first starting to try to practice handwriting, it's okay if you go a lot more slowly than I do. And just whatever works for you. Just make sure you feel comfortable, and honestly, make sure you're enjoying yourself. That is what I really want. I don't want to stress anyone out with handwriting. That is like the opposite of my intention here. So, like I said, there are some notebooks I have where if I showed you, you would be like, wow, I couldn't even imagine. But that's just sometimes when you're taking notes quickly, that's just what happens, and that's okay too. All right, so we have these three, and then I think I have time for hopefully one more. I'm trying to decide, should I do the Zebra Sarasa or this one here, the Uniball Signo? I think I'll do this one because we've got pink everywhere else, so we might as well stick with that. So I would love to hear, number one, how you're feeling and if you have any questions. And number two, I would love to hear if this is something you would like to practice more of, like you feel like you're just getting started and you want to have another week of this type of practice, or if you like to just have like brush lettering mixed in with handwriting. Tell me what would be helpful for you, because I would love to hear. I think that this week for our quote, there will be some handwriting and brush lettering combined, and that's honestly pretty typical of how I do quotes, because I do like to put this like nice simple handwriting. It just helps when it comes to laying out quotes. It's kind of hard with quotes to always have everything done in calligraphy, and I shouldn't say hard. That's probably not the right way to say it. I think it's just my style to like to combine the two, and so when I do try to do everything in calligraphy, I have a hard time finding a layout that I like, because I like things to look kind of like even and neatly spaced, and that can be hard when you just have a lot of swashes and tall letters. And so I just think it helps to have a handwriting style that you can kind of use alongside of your calligraphy they will kind of complement each other. So I think that's what we're doing this week. But let me know if you want to spend more time on handwriting, and if so, like I think I asked in an earlier video, like what do you want to use your handwriting for? Because that might help me be able to do some videos that go along with the kinds of projects that you guys are working on. So let me know there. Otherwise, this is really fun, but I think I'll come back one of these days and finish this so we can add some more pens to it. So let me know if there are any other pens you want to see compared, and I will see if I have them. Chances are pretty good I've at least got one or two of them, because I do have quite a lot of pens and I'm having a hard time figuring out how to organize them. That's a whole nother video probably, but right now they're in just a giant mess in a basket. And so it actually was kind of difficult to pick out all of these pens because I had to dig through so many. So anyway, if you have any great storage suggestions for pens, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.